The battles you face today aren't fought with swords and shields, but God's strategies, His winning battle plans, are still buried deep in the sands of ancient wars. Think about Jericho. Joshua didn't break down those walls with brute force. He led the people in silence, and then in a mighty shout of worship. Joshua 6:1-20. Imagine being told, "March around this massive city, sing, and the walls will collapse." Would you believe it? Would you keep marching when nothing happened the first 6 days? In God's kingdom, faith is the only requirement. Not logic, not numbers, faith. Today, when you're facing a battle, don't start with a fight. Start with worship. Praise is what brings the walls down. And what about Gideon? He had 32,000 men, and God said, "Too many." God whittled his army down to just 300. Judges 7:1-22. Imagine going against a vast enemy with nothing but a torch, a jar, and a trumpet. Gideon learned the hard truth. If you can still win by human strength, you're trusting the wrong thing. When you feel like you don't have enough, money, strength, opportunities, maybe that's the point. Maybe God is setting you up to trust Him completely, so that when victory comes, you'll know it wasn't you, it was Him. Now picture Mount Carmel, Elijah versus 450 prophets of Baal. 1 Kings 18:20-40. He soaked the altar in water 3 times over, and then prayed a simple prayer. No shouting, no fancy rituals, just bold, raw faith. And fire fell from heaven. Ask yourself, do you pray like that? One prayer, believing God hears? When false altars rise up in your life, fear, pride, doubt, you don't need to wrestle them down with effort. You call down the fire of God through fearless prayer. Then there's David, a teenage shepherd standing before a giant who terrified armies. 1 Samuel 17:1-51. David didn't need a sword. He didn't need armor. All he needed was one stone and a heart full of faith. Sometimes you don't need 100 Bible verses memorized. You need one promise burning so deep inside you that when you release it, the giant falls. What's your stone today? What's the one word from God you're carrying into battle? Finally, there's Jehoshaphat. Facing an enemy too big to fight, he didn't prepare weapons. He prepared the choir. 2 Chronicles 21-22. Imagine putting your worship team on the front lines instead of your soldiers. But that's exactly what he did. And before they even reached the battlefield, the enemy turned on itself. Your praise is more powerful than you realize. When you worship before the victory, heaven fights for you. So let me ask you, which of these strategies are you going to deploy in your fight today? Worship before you war? Trust when it feels impossible? Pray bold prayers? Swing your stone of faith? Sing before the battle even starts? Comment below with your battle plan. I'd love to hear what you're taking into your fight. You're not alone in this. Guard your mind, lift your voice, and watch God go to war on your behalf. For the weapons of our warfare are mighty through God to the pulling down of strongholds. 2 Corinthians 10:4. If this equipped you for battle, hit like, subscribe, and share this with someone who's standing on their own battlefield. Let's stand victorious together.